Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Neil. If you've not been here before, please do not forget to subscribe and leave me a comment below before you leave. Today we're going to talk about the Blackstar Amped series pedals. Now I have two of these down here that I've been demoing for you guys on the channel. Some of you guys may have bought the Amped 2 before the Amped 3 was released, and for those of you that are the high gain metal players that are now wishing or thinking, oh, damn, I should have waited and bought the Amped 3, do not worry, because I'm going to show you a way where you can open up the Amped 2 and get some really awesome high gain tones out of this thing by simply adding another preamp pedal into the return. Let's go. Right guys, so this is the Amped 2 here. This is my pedal that I own and I really like it. It's a floor-based multi-effects amp, I guess. It does have three modes on the preamp section here that you can flick between, but you can't really access them via the foot switches. You have a drive foot switch over here that turns the drive on and off, but it is quite limited in terms of channels. But this is mainly aimed at people who are wanting a floor-based basic amp, you know, with multi-effects also, you know, modulation, delay and reverb. Now bear with me. So the Amped 3, which is down here, is more for the guy that wants to access tons of different channels. He has three channels of clean, crunch and overdrive on the Amped 3, and each channel has two modes here which you can access via the switches. Now both the Amped 2 and Amped 3 have shared EQ. However, I've found a way that you can turn the Amped 2 into a very similar sounding pedal as the Amped 3, but you can still use all the effects in the Amped 2. And I'm going to show you how I do it. So basically, down here I have a Department 10 Dual Distortion pedal. Now the tones that are in the Dual Distortion are very, very similar to the Amped 3 tones. In fact, if I'm totally honest, and I've tried these head to head, I think that the tones that are in the Dual Distortion are just a small touch better than the Amped 3. Whether that is because it has a preamp tube in there, I don't know, but it's a touch more punchy and a touch thicker in my opinion than the Amped 3, but it is only a small difference. Now on the Dual Distortion here, you get 4 different channels. Again, shared EQ, but on this side here you have a clean and a crunch that you can access by just clicking the foot switch. Over here you have two overdrives, OD1 and OD2, very high gain, you know, very gainy, and you can access both those by this foot switch as well. So if you have this on the floor, what I'm saying is you have 4 channels at your toes, okay, that you can access. Now if you rig the Dual Distortion up to the Amped 2 return, you get to access those 4 tones and channels with the Dual Distortion, but you also get the power amp obviously and the multi-effects that are built into the Amped 2. Now in my opinion, this sounds absolutely awesome when you do this. The other thing what I want to mention here is, and to my surprise, because I wasn't expecting this to happen, I was expecting to go into the return of the Amped 2 and I was expecting to bypass this preamp here, preamp section of the Amped 2, and actually you don't bypass it at all. So what I did was I set it to USA clean because that's the cleanest tone. I went into the return and I tweaked even further my tone by using the preamp controls on the Amped 2. So in my opinion, when you rig up the Dual Distortion into the Amped 2, you get those extra 4 channels, which is more channels than you'll get on the Amped 3, and it's also a better tone in my opinion than the Amped 3, but you also get to further tweak the EQ on the Dual Distortion with these preamp controls here, and I think it sounds absolutely awesome. Now if you want to purchase any Blackstar gear, please do not forget, down there in the description below there's an Anderton's affiliate link. If you go through that link and you want to buy any gear at all, when you do so, it helps support the channel. So thanks in advance for any of you guys that actually use the link and help support me and what I do here. Just for your information, price wise, last time I looked, the Dual Distortion Department 10 pedals here retail at about 200-ish, give or take, over here in the UK. And the Amped 2, I think, is still around the 500 mark. So yeah, you're going to shell out another £200, but it is possible to turn the Amped 2 into the amp 3 if you think you prefer the amp 3. And in my opinion, when you do that by buying this, you get more channels and you get effects as well. So it may be worth looking at if you've not got any of these Amped series pedals yet and you're looking at getting but don't know which to get. It might be worth looking into this video and these possibilities that I'm putting to you, because the amp 3 would cost you around 500, this would cost you around 500, this would be an extra 200, but you do get something that sounds a bit better in my opinion with more channels than the amp 3. If you stick around till the end of the video, I will be comparing the Dual Distortion into the return of the amp 2 against the amp 3. Okay, the cab that I'm going to use in this demo is a Hesu 212V30 cab. It's my favorite cab that I own, absolutely love it. It has an SM57 on it. The guitar I'm using is a Jackson DK2 Pro Series. It's a green glow ash bodied guitar and it has a JB in the bridge. Without further ado, let's go. Please do not forget to subscribe before you leave, and also stick around till the end so you can hear these two compared to the amp 3.